to protect your soul.
Test, test. There we go. I think that sounds good. Yeah. Alright. Welcome back to the stream, Griff fans. Glad to have you here. As you may have seen and you may have noticed in the title, today's a very special stream. There will currently be no game, as I will be talking a little bit about this awesome book I've been reading called The Griffin Generations by Alexandra Bizel. And as you can see here, we got some pictures going from the book series along with some of the shirts that he has as a promotional item for the launch of the book. And as you can see there, there's Hunter, his hawk. What a buddy. And standing by the mascot hat for the Red Tails. If you're wondering what NGL is, it may be pretty obvious to you guys that are actual sports fans. You may recognize that it is an emblem for a sports team or a league. And that's exactly what it is. In this book series, the game Griffball is very popular. Like, it's big, like football. So, if you want to think NFL, NGL, same concept. So, in this world, we follow a character by the name of Thyra, and she is a young Griffiness, and there she is right there, sitting on her deck that her husband made for her, who is a human, and she's living a normal, human-ish life, as one of the few Griffins in her area, the only one married to a human in Georgia. So, we'll be reading a little bit about that today, but, let's see, I might slow down the pace of the scrolling there. Take a look at the prospects of it. But yeah, so hence why the stream layout is a little bit on the green side. As you can see, that's the team color. The team's name is called the Red Tails, and if you ask me, that's a pretty wicked logo label. And Mytho, congrats on the 500 follows. Thank you, Fulfers. Thank you so much. And welcome in. Dude, I imagine it's super late for you, huh? Let's see. Not about midnight and a half. 12:30. Took a look at the filter. No filter. Oops. Nope, no filter. That's not what I wanted. I did want to slow down the slideshow a little bit. Let's cut it down to about 6,000. How about that? There we go. That's still a little fast. I did it wrong. No. Yeah, it's almost half past 1 already. Oh, excuse me. I undershot it a little bit. How's your day been today? You doing okay? How about we bring it down to 500, see if that works. I do not notice a difference in the speed. So I got one more day for my leisure, technically. But I don't gotta get up early tomorrow. Because the guy from the temp work agency said it would be in contact Tuesday or Wednesday. Excellent, excellent. And you're feeling like you're ready to go back to work? Like, you doing okay? health-wise? Like, your foot? Oh, but it was your leg, right? That's doing okay? Been pretty good. I played a lot of BOT, Breath of the Wild today. Beat the first Divine Beast today, completed a couple of side quests and shrines, and collected some outfits. Cool. Did you discover anything else that you missed the first time? Yeah, I think I'll be good to go. Excellent, excellent. I'm starting to feel anxious, and I'm trying not to. I'm trying to distract myself, but until I lock it in with work, and I know for sure whether I need to extend my leave or not, I'm just gonna feel this way, and that requires waiting on others. But until I can get it for sure whether I know if I'm going back on the 10th or not. So yeah, same thing I've been talking about, really. Yes, I discovered a shrine behind a waterfall today. A couple more in the desert. I have not come across. This is a desert? What? What's this witchcraft? I'll get there eventually. I finally discovered the edge of the sea in that game. Yeah. Came across some ruins, and this one guy that was like looking for stuff was like, hey, let me send you on a quest to go look for stuff, yeah. But anyway. Yeah, I really need to get back on that game. Gotta do it. Gotta go fast. But anyway, behind a waterfall, that sounds familiar. I think I discovered that one. There's a desert, yes, and you fight a divine beast there too. That might be the last one. I think I've beaten 3 beasts. The lizard, the elephant. It's the camel in the desert, right? Let's see, and then the bird creature is the 4th one. Also, you gotta dress up as a woman, as men are restricted from entering Gerudo Town, which is in the desert. I am sure a bunch of people are just thrilled to do that, looking fabulous. Yep, the Kennel Van Nabbers. Yeah. That sounds... Actually, no, I never looked up his name. I was gonna surprise me. Alright, so let's see here. Let's see what else. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the stream. So, quite honestly, I know a lot of people, you know, successful people. Well, I'm not even gonna put it that way, because quite honestly, I see myself as successful. I see myself as a successful streamer because I'm doing what I wanted to do. And, you know, it's like I've said before, the count of the numbers isn't that big a deal. It's the content and my interaction with people. And I think I've done a good job keeping that in the forefront of my mind and staying positive about it and consistent. Most importantly, consistent. Because as you guys know, my schedule is very hectic and I don't get to game on the regular as much as I would like. Ooh, excuse me. And a burpiness. But it's been a long journey, and you know, I'll look back on my Twitter page and it'll tell me, hey, you know, this is what you posted a year ago, and you know, I'm always reminiscing and happy with how far I've come. I've learned a lot of things, and honestly, whenever people at work have asked me questions about using the computer, I'm more confident with jumping on and helping them out because of streaming. Because I had to kind of get my hands on things and programs and ideas myself. So, I definitely feel very accomplished as a content creator. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like it's been pretty simple. And the background, even the room has changed over the years. I've gotten more products and stuff, and the way I see it is just I've been just sharing what I was already going to do with people, and it's been great. It's been great. Let's see. I guess on these kind of things, people would offer, does anyone have any questions for me that I can answer? And yeah, all 2 of you. Any questions? Or thoughts, even. Question, comments, concerns, that kind of thing. so it's not. Okay, let's see, I guess we'll move on into the reading. So, here's my copy of the book you're seeing up there like a bajillion times on the side stuff. I happened to discover this, book honestly on Twitter. And it started with, sticker drafts of pins. The only thing that would come to my mind would be party pooper stuff like 500 has no real meaning aside from the meaning that we are a society assigned to it. Has no real meaning aside from the meaning that we as a society assigned to it. Assigned to it? So you're like reading it a bajillion times. Like, how do you mean? But I don't want to spoil the moment for you with my attitude. Gotcha. I think I see what you're getting at. Ish. Maybe. But, I mean, like I said, yeah, I mean, I decided from the get-go I did want to have, like, little celebrations. I think it's good to, you know, have a little special thing here and there. And what matters to me is the interactions. Quite honestly, there are days I think to myself that, you know, this is gonna sound cheesy, but really Fluffy is a part of the stream, and Faith, Shady, Druid when he can. He's been working extra hard lately, but you know he does want to come back around and help when he can. His wife, Dragon Dame, supports when she can, and you know just people that are just showing up and talking to me. People that randomly pop in and out, and I'm like, that's the Griffin's Nest. That's what this is, and I accept it. I love it. It's mine. It's my stream, and it's just something that I share, and you know, it's my way of sharing that internet space and that chat room space with people, and I treasure the people. I mean, 500 is about arbitrary a number to celebrate as 742. Oh, gotcha. Meh. Like I said. And the next one's not going to be until 1,000, to be quite honest. And watch that happen, like, 10 years from now. If Twitch is still a thing. Which I'm sure it will be, honestly. I can see Twitch going a long way for many years to come. As long as, you know, doesn't... I guess I won't say too terribly much. I mean, I don't want to say anything to slander it, of course. You know, as long, like any business, they're able to keep things simple and to an agreeable... make things... keep things functioning, accessible, and interesting. You know, like any business or group does. All right. So, on that note, I think I'll go ahead and get started with the book reading, and hopefully some people will pop in. And if not, this will be just a chill, laid-back stream. Alright, let me look what I want to find up real quick. Okay, as I always am found doing, I want to try something new. And when I start the reading, the story will go back and forth, of course, between interactions between Jonathan, the human husband, and Thyra, the female griffin. Excuse me. And I'm gonna have to do a little bit of clicking back and forth, but I have custom made a voice effect that probably sounds as close to adult male as I can get it. So when you hear the male voice, that will be Jonathan speaking, and I decided it's going to be too much work to jump between other male characters, because there will be one or two during the reading, and I'll just keep those at my normal voice without the sound effect. So when you hear the male voice, it will be Jonathan speaking. Alrighty. Let's see. And of course, we're not going to play it with the music playing. Alright, turn that off though. Okay, so here's what the male voice will be sounded like.
When I'm speaking like this, that will be Jonathan. Hi, I'm Jonathan.
Sounds a little draggy, but it was really the best I could do. But like I've always said, I love the Sound Blaster Tactic 3D headset. Love it so much. It's unique, at least to me anyway. Alright, I'm going to turn this down so I'm not distracting myself. Alright, and I shall begin the story. Here it is right here. Close out this window, well, minimize this window a little bit. Okay, so introducing and glad to have you here at the Griffin's Nest to share with you The Griffin Generation by Alexandra Buzel. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. I'll just read the first 5 chapters. Alright. Chapter 1. Another Summer Day. The alarm clock screeched in the dark morning of the bedroom. Jonathan's hands quickly came to life to beat the snooze button again and again until all was silent once more. He roused from the sleep with a pitiful groan before sitting at the edge of the bed. He sat, staring at the carpet, trying to regain any trace of thought. Suddenly he felt a smooth and cool sensation on the back of his neck as something rubbed on him gently and a soft trill emitted from behind him. A little smile crept along his face as Jonathan turned to see his wife's eyes, still half-slitted, shining green in the dim morning light.
Hey there,
he said before leaning in to kiss a large curved beak. Hi! A soft chuckle came from her feminine voice, chilling back to him before adding a yawn. Jonathan found the energy to stand, feeling the cold wood of the bedroom floor beneath his feet. He walked into the bedroom and flipped on the lights, wincing as they instantly blinded him. He groggily walked to the shower and turned it on, adjusting the temperature to his liking before moving to the mirror. With his eyes now attuned to the bright light, he could see himself clearly. The mountain man in the mirror was a mess. His black hair stood up in a twisted tangle, and his short beard looked as if he had been attacked by a blow-dryer. The voice sounds like a TG detective character from the early 50s movies. He chuckled in a drunken state of early morning at his disheveled appearance. It didn't take him but a minute for the room to become steamy, indicating it was about time to hop into the shower. As the hot water hit his head, Jonathan gave a loud sigh, closing his eyes and enjoying the warmth running across his body. He went about his normal routine of shampooing, and the glass shower door opened. He squinted his eyes to find his golden-brown griffiness walking on all fours, feathers just as rumpled as his hair was. She walked up to nuzzle into his upper chest with a sizable beak, while the hot water began to run over her face.
Did you sleep well, Thyra?
He asked. The large griffiness noticed the fleshy edges of her beak curved in a grin, while the water beaded over her brown and cream feather coloration. He ran his hand through her thick coat of feathers as the water began to soak into them. Jonathan let the water rinse off the soap and shampoo from his body, while Thyra simply let the hot water seep into her feathers. It was harmful to a coat of feathers to strip them of their natural oils. Only on rare occasions did she use shampoo to get the extra dirt and grime out when exceptionally dirty. The hot water soaking into her feathers made the room smell of her crisp, earthy aroma. After a while, Jonathan bent down and cut off the shower. He opened the door, letting Thyra out first, and then himself. He picked a towel off the rack and began to dry himself off. The Griffiness did the same, sitting on her haunches, and used her gray foreclaws to grip the towel as she rubbed it through her thick fur and feathers. Jonathan picked up his toothbrush and applied paste to the tip. He brushed his teeth while Thyra gargled a mouthwash. Standing on all fours, the top of her head came to Jonathan's chest. She primmed and preened her feathers while he brushed his medium-length hair back, adding product as needed. It just goes to show you, in comparison, the different methods side by side of a griffin and a human taking care of themselves in the morning. I like that.
You need some help with that?
Oh, excuse me, wrong character. You need some help with that? She asked, as it was traditional for griffins to preen one another. Jonathan looked over at the digital clock and frowned.
Already running late. I must have hit the snooze once too many times.
Wow, I must have been out of it, she said. I didn't even notice. He went back into the bedroom, finding his clothes already laid out for him. A smile came to his face. It was the little things that she did for him that he appreciated the most. He quickly threw on his clothes, working on the buttons while walking into the kitchen. Jonathan grabbed his coffee mug and poured himself a cup, adding a bit of milk to sweeten it up. He checked his sleeves and buttoned them. Thyra walked out of the bedroom and made her way over to the front door and grabbed the paper. "Great skies!" she shouted angrily. Jonathan came to attention.
What's wrong, Thyra?
"It happened again," she said with disgust, her hackle feathers raised. Jonathan walked to the front door to find front deck littered in broken eggshells. The yolk had already dried on the windows and walls from the Georgia heat. The word abomination had been spray painted on one of the windows. Jonathan put an arm around his Griffiness and led her back to inside.
Don't worry, Thyra. I'll clean it up when I get home,
he said reassuringly, while her bright green eyes looked down at the floor. "I don't understand why they still do this to us," she responded in a bit of grief in her gentle voice. She tugged his arm away with a foreclaw and walked over to the couch, slumping down upon it. Jonathan grabbed his coffee and walked over to the tan-colored couch. He sat down and wrapped an arm around her to bring her warm bundle of feathers closer to him.
It's just Matthew's cult again, I'm sure. They're confused and scared that the world is changing, but there's nothing they can do about it besides be angry. It's just how these people will always be,
he said. He intertwined his fingers in her claws, playing with her wedding ring.
Don't let those dumbasses get to you. They're too chicken to do any kind of harm anyways. Plus, who would be stupid enough to try to pick a fight with you?
He said with a laugh and reached up to scratch behind her long, pointed ear tufts. They flicked gently at his attentions, and edges of her muddy brown beak curved in the same beak grin that he liked to see. "It would be the last mistake they would make," she said with a chuckle. Her feathers started to rouse slightly as her mood lightened. Jonathan leaned in against her for a moment, relaxing against her soft though still damp feathers. He turned his head to look at the clock.
It's about that time.
He sighed and kissed the sear right above her beak. With that, Jonathan stood up and threw on his black blazer, looking back at Thyra, who had sprawled out on the couch. When she was stretched out like that, her body took up most of the room on the sofa.
How many deliveries do you have today?
Jonathan asked, changing the subject. He walked around the kitchen counter, retrieving his keys, wallet, and cell phone. "Only 3. It shouldn't take long." Not many people order groceries on Fridays for some reason. Thyra quickly responded as she held the remote in a foreclaw, using a talon to turn on the TV hung up on the wall. So, basically, she does an aerial version of, what do you call it? Shipt. Or, Instacart. Or, basically a grocery delivery service. Let's see. Don't work too hard, she teased. Jonathan smiled.
You know, the law firm never sleeps.
Jonathan opened the door to the garage and stepped inside. He could hear Thyra chuckle as she watched for an awful morning talk show she enjoyed for some reason. Bright fluorescent lights flickered on overhead, shining off the two cars sitting in the garage. Toolboxes and pictures lined the walls in a neat row. His white Volvo station wagon showed the lines of a brand new vehicle, curved and slimline like all the modern cars. On the other side of the garage was a boxy old Ford Mustang, gray paint glistening with his freshly polished wax coat. The beige Mach 1 decal under the rear spoiler showed in sharp contrast with the rest of the darker rear end of the car. He itched to drive it. Unfortunately, that would have to wait. I hope I pronounced that right. Mach 1? Mach 1. His leather dress shoes clicked on the checkerboard painted floor while he walked to the station wagon. It beeped and unlocked itself as he opened the door and got in. Jonathan opened the garage door and started to the vehicle. The smooth rumble of the small engine filled the garage as he left on his daily commute. It was not a very long drive to the office, but he enjoyed it nonetheless, especially on a bright summer morning such as this one. The humidity wasn't bad. He could comfortably drive with the windows down and let the warm air whip through his slicked back hair. The radio played one of his favorite songs. Usually this would make him drum his fingers on the steering wheel and take his mind off things, but despite the way he had shrugged off the events of the morning to Thyra, they were eating him. Sure, things like this happened before, but that had been earlier in their relationship. When they had met and started to date, many people had been disgusted by their attraction to each other. But over the years, as the presence of griffins became more and more commonplace, people had become more accepting. In time, they were accepted into normality. After their marriage, the hassling and vandalism had all but stopped, and now, for the most part, they were accepted as a normal man and wife. But they were still the distasteful few. Jonathan thought back to the times when Thyra had been forced to stand up to people shouting at her, calling her a monster and an abomination, and calling him a sinner. She had always been strong on the outside, but she had spent so many a night curled up against him, crying, wishing that society would accept them. It burned him to think about what people still out there would put his wife through this grief like this.
Damn it, Matthew.
Matthew was a bishop at a church cult that called themselves The Gathering. Jonathan had been brought up in The Gathering and had believed a lot of its teaching, but as he grew older, Jonathan had lost interest in The Gathering and he had stopped going right before he met Thyra. Somehow Matthew had received word that Jonathan was dating the Griffiness and had made it an impersonal mission to force him back into the line. At first, Matthew said he was just concerned and preached to him the gospel said about intermingling races. But over time, he began to get more threatening and even started the organization attendees of the gathering to harass Jonathan whenever possible. Over the years, Matthew had stopped most of the harassment, either from the restraining orders that Jonathan filed against members of the gathering, or just simply time itself. But little things like this still happened every so often. Jonathan gritted his teeth and refused to get worked up thinking about it. It was just eggs and spray paint. A bit of a pain to clean up, but minor in the big scheme of things. He cleared his mind and tried to focus on the music, letting out a deep sigh.
You need to concentrate on work today.
He said to himself, trying to put his brain in the right gear. The firm had picked up a wealthy client, and he had a lot of work to do before the weekend. Once inside the office building, Jonathan called out to the secretary.
"Morning, Janet," he said, walking to the elevator.
He called it with the push of a button. "Morning, Jonathan. Ready for the weekend?" she asked absently, concentrating on most of her attention on typing on a computer. The elevator door opened with a ding, and Jonathan stepped inside.
Of course. It's the best time of the week.
The elevator rose and soon opened to his floor. He walked out into the main office room that was made up of multiple different cubicles of various shapes and sizes. People buzzed around in the morning meet and greet while the sounds of the phones rang in the air. He could hear a couple standing in the kitchen discussing weekend plans over coffee, as others scurried to their appropriate workplaces. Jonathan smiled and waved as a couple while making his way over to his office. He set his briefcase down on the desk. "Hey, Johnny boy! What's going on with you this morning?" Came a rough, accented voice behind him. Oh, yeah, I did. She did a great job with that accent. Let me take a little pause there for a sippy sip. So you can see the start of the story just kind of jumps into things on a rougher morning for our characters. Alright, there we go. Jonathan turned around to see a black-haired man standing on the in a black suit and tie.
"Just trying to get the day started, Keith,"
he said in response. He did not want to alert Keith to the events of the morning. "I hear you got quite the client on your hands this quarter. How'd you pick up someone like that?" Keith asked with a bushy eyebrow raised, his scruffy little mustache curving up into a smile as he casually leaned up against the door and took a sip of coffee.
"Well, first you have to be actually good at your job. Then second,"
Jonathan began. Keith leaned in to punch his arm teasingly. "Do you gotta be a jackass first thing in the morning?"
Jonathan sat down and leaned back.
Jonathan sat down and leaned back against the big black chair with a smug looking grin. A moment and a couple of coffee sips later, Keith cleared his throat. "Well, Kyla and I were thinking about heading on over there in the new fancy place on the West Main Street tonight. You know, the new Italian place with all them wines and stuff." Jonathan grabbed his own coffee cup from his desk and stood on the right past his coworker to the break room.
"Oh yeah, I've heard pretty good things about that."
Keith followed him. "Well, the wife and I were planning to go tonight, and I was figuring that you and Thyra could join us on a double date. After all, it's Thyra's birthday tomorrow, ain't it? Dinner would be on me," Keith politely asked, trying to sweeten the deal, which would lure a free meal. Jonathan thought it over while he poured himself a cup of fresh brewed Joe.
"I don't know. Hanging out with you?"
he said in a jesting manner while adding a little creamer and sugar to his coffee.
"I guess we don't have anything better to do."
Keith snorted and slapped him on the back. "Okay, Mr. Uppity. I'll just tell him to make a table for 4 then," he said, following Jonathan as he began to walk back to his desk once more.
"All right, I'll see you tomorrow then. Excuse me, I'll see you tonight then. Just text me the details later."
Jonathan smiled to his friend and then tapped their old beat-up mugs together. It reminded Jonathan of the first days of internship together when they were young. They often brought each other the most boring and mundane coffee mugs they could think of. It was a comedic way of saying they would never be uppity old white-collared men. They might seem like that today, especially after 12 years of working in this company, but they always acted like it was their first year. Jonathan sat down at his desk, taking another sip of his coffee, and he opened his briefcase. His eyes fell on the brown sack Thyra placed inside for lunch. There was a little note on it and a dark brown feather attached to the outside. "Tried out a new tuna salad recipe. Hope you like it. Love you." Jonathan smiled. Even after all these years, she still wrote him silly little love notes every now and then. He took off the note and placed it inside one of his drawers, adding it to the pile of other notes Thyra had written for him. His desk was nicely organized with various frames of pictures of Thyra and Jonathan together. One of his favorite pictures was placed in the middle. one of their honeymoon in the Alps of Switzerland. Sure, it had almost bankrupted them to take such an expensive honeymoon back then, but looking back, it had been worth every penny. It usually is. Just then the phone rang. Jonathan quickly pulled his cell phone out of his pocket and checking it. Seeing it was his new client, he promptly answered.
Homer Associates, this is Jonathan. How are you today, sir?
And that's the end of chapter 1. So, I think I'll read one more chapter. In my opinion, this is a good start to the story. Just kind of showing you the the morning routine and the everyday life routine of these characters. Friendships. It's always important to start a story off with that. See what kind of relationships the people already have before you show them the relationships they're about to have. Speaking of husband, sorry about that. Shady was just asking me a quick question. Something couldn't really wait. It's about dinner. Originally, I was supposed to be ordering dinner, but I wasn't exactly sure when. Talking about dinner. Okay. Alrighty. Right now, I'm not feeling too picky about dinner. Okay, so. Got a little refreshed there. Ready for chapter 2. I hope you guys are enjoying the story so far. Alright. I like this chapter. Oh! You get to see a little bit about what the Griffiness does in her own time when she's all alone. I like mornings on my own. They're rare in my personal household, but just that sense of the space and this morning is mine. Talking ordering dinner, there's a new pizzeria opening nearby. I might suggest trying them out for tomorrow's dinner. What? There's a new pizza. I might suggest trying out for tomorrow's dinner. Oh, for you guys. For some reason, I thought you were going to suggest it to me. I was like, it's a little far. I can't reach. Can't reach it. I need to get some paws, like some claws. That'd be so cool. Honestly, if you ask me, my outfit here is pretty much complete. I mean, if I really want to go 110%, I could get, like, some sort of, like, fur covering for the neck, but I'm not going to be picky. Some claws. But anyway. Trying new places is awesome. Sorry, that was really worded. No, that's cool, dude. I was about to say, if you want to treat me and get me a lift to the airport and then fly me over there, yeah, by all means, let's do it. Let's go. No, that sounds great. If you think about it and you want, how about take a picture and let me know how it is. There's this place that opened up near my house called Saigon Cafe, and I had been wanting to go there for months. And right before, I got the surgery done, we finally went and checked it out. And I ordered the large soup thinking to myself, hey, I'll have some leftovers later. They brought me this. Hold on a second. You gotta see this. This large bowl about this wide, like as wide as my face, maybe a little bit wider. Not the feather face in my real face. And it was like this deep, like, oh, but it looked so good. It had finely chopped, I think it was the pork dish I got. Yeah, I got the pork. It had all these different vegetables in it, and the noodles were just perfect. It was just the best ramen bowl I had ever had. Okay, maybe not the best. I'd had better, but not by much. Anyway, I was just so overwhelmed and amazed by it. And the waiter had to come over, and he's like, "Oh, everything is good?" I was like, "This is excellent," and I was sure to leave 5 stars on the review and let him know this is really good. Please, my compliments to the chef. I really like this. And yeah, he was just like, he was blushing. He was just grinning from ear to ear, just bowing over and over again, like shake you, shake you, shake you. I was like, it's okay. This is just really good. I love it when you find a good place that just knows what they're doing with their food. If I get my folks to order, sure. Yeah, by all means. All right. Haha, nice. Sounds like a good food to be had. It was good. And it isn't always nice. And isn't it always nice when people in services are genuinely happy about receiving good reviews? Yes. Oh gosh. And I don't do this too often, but I did do this once in a place called North Carolina. Um, excuse me, North Carolina, was it? No, we were in Chattanooga, excuse me, Tennessee. So one one state north of us. And Shady and I went for our anniversary. I found an amazing deal for a hotel up there on, I think it was Living Socials. By the way, let me know, do you know what Groupon's and Living Socials and all that is? I'm sure they're international, but if not, please let me know. Um, but anyway, so basically I found a good deal, a good coupon deal. And we splurged a little bit and stayed in the room there for a couple of nights. And we went to what's called Ruby Falls. And that's a place that I always wanted to go ever since I was really small. Um, because kids in the neighborhood would be like, yeah, it's a waterfall that's deep, 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 deep down in the ground, and you can get all the jewels you want. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're gonna be rich. It was underground, very far underground, and it's beautiful. Um, anyway, so I finally got to go check it out. Very interesting experience. But back to the point. Wow, that digressed. Mm. So anyway, um, people were saying if you want good burgers, go to the local. I forget what it was called, but I will never forget. The way it looked on the inside and um, how delicious the burger was. And here's the thing. I was run out from burgers on fast food here. I just felt like tried it all, and there were even places that were claiming, hey, we got the best burgers in town, and I'd just be like, meh. But I remember just taking a bite, and there was just something about the meat and the fresh vegetables, and the burger was thick. Like, I had to stretch my fingers, and I bit into it, and I very seriously, very solemnly told the young lady, could I possibly see the manager? And she's like, okay, sure. So she goes to get the manager, and he comes back, and I lean forward as like, sir, I just want to let you know first off, I don't like burgers. And he's like, okay. Briefly glances down at my plate and then back at me. But these are the best burgers I have ever had. I may become a fan again, but only for this place's burgers. And then I proceeded to tell him, and we have all a good laugh and everything. But I was feeling giddy and in a good mood, and I wanted to do something unpredictable. I do that every now and again, just do something unpredictable. I think I only ever left 4 or 5 stars in one place, on a place. Okay. letting out the inner Karen just for a couple for compliment. How mischievous! Well, what do you want from me? Like, I mean, sometimes you gotta do exciting stuff. Hey, sorry that I'm late. No, you're fine. You are fine. Welcome. We just got finished reading the first chapter, and we'll start the second one in just a couple minutes. I'm kind of catching my breath and chatting a little bit and wetting my tongue, wetting my beak, as it were. Rainborn, thank you so much for the follow. I know who you are. It's good to have you. Did you end up having to make an account to come in, or have you always been on Twitch? And I hope you like the setup. Excuse me, I'm pointing the wrong way. I hope you like the setup we got going over there. What do you think? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so the first 10 minutes of the stream, if you want to go back for 12 minutes, actually it was like, um, we have the starting soon message up until 12 minutes, and I want to say like 6 seconds. And then I started showing my beak and everything. And here I am. And look, there's Hunter! Again, looking the wrong way. Hey, Hunter! Hey, baby. How is Hunter doing today, by the way? I had to make an account. I like the slideshow a lot. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Quite honestly, when I didn't hear an answer from you, I thought carefully about it, and I'm like, okay, I think it'll be alright. Because, number one, these are pictures that are publicly on his page. Fluffy, in short, these pictures are from different people that got the book series and, showed off their swag a little bit. And, yeah, I wanted to put in this slideshow. But yeah, like I said, I couldn't get the pictures you gave me to work for whatever reason. And I'm sure there's a good reason. I just didn't have time to figure it all out. Not to mention, earlier today, I was exhausted. And I was like, I need to go, take me a 3-hour nap if I'm going to be awake for this. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm more than fine with everything. Excellent, excellent. Well then, you haven't seen the best of it. Wait until I start reading the next chapter. All I ask. I'm sure you're a busy man, and you got tons of stuff to do, but I just ask that you listen to a little bit of the next chapter. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. But if you end up saying that you have to go, and I drastically understand, just run the video back later. But I will, like I said before, I will give you a link to this video, and you can watch it either in its entirety or jump through it, or whatever you want to do, and see for yourself. And I will also have it on my YouTube. I very rarely move it to YouTube anymore. I just, I just kind of I'm a very busy person. We've talked a little bit about this. I think I mentioned to you I volunteer at a lot of conventions around here, and oh, by the way, this is my Twitch Sona, as it were. Mithril, that's me. Hey. Made of 3 different pieces up here. Got the ears, the feathery mask, and the beak. And mithril because the forehead has purplish steel silvery feathers that represent the way I see things out of my mind's eye. So that's where the mithril name came from. And I just got these sleeves in recently. I wouldn't mind getting some paws or something eventually, but anyway, this is me. And it's nice to see you. It's nice to actually talk to you. By the way, Faithy, welcome back. Thank you so much for the host, buddy. Buddy, let me give you guys a screech. Welcome back to the stream, buddy. But anyway, I did not introduce you. Guys, this is Reborn. This is the author of the book himself. This is Alexander Bizel. I might as well go ahead and say it. And by the way, please correct me if that's something I've been meaning to ask you, is how to say your last name. I know a lot of people are really chillax about last names these days, but I always try to be considerate anyway. Not to mention, people are always trying to be considerate of my last name. But when I see your name, I think Bizel. But if it's something else, please, by all means, I at least want to show that respectiveness if I'm mispronouncing it. Hi! And this is Faithy. He's one of my mods. Fluffy, didn't I make you a mod? I thought I had. Okay, well, I will fix that later. Yep, that's it. Excellent, excellent, good to know. So, I guess if you ever decide to hang out on Twitch more and look into it, a lot of people think to themselves, when I hear Twitch, I think video gaming. Yes, that's a large majority of what people do, but there's also a lot more to it. There are a lot of people out there that make art streams, music, content creators, educators even. I've actually thought to myself running a couple of streams on childhood education. Anyway, all these different things, but um, readings or talking about, or just talking about something in particular with your viewers is also a big part of it too. It just comes down to entertainment, although a large majority of it is gaming. So I mentioned that to you just in case you ever wanted to look into it further. Maybe even if you wanted, create your own account and make your own community like I got. Mine's very small, as you can see. I'm currently peaking at 5 viewers. And 500 followers is it's a pretty big number, of course, but it took me 4 years to get here. But honestly, I do this primarily for the kids anyway. I'm doing it for charity and community. So, like I was telling Fluffy earlier, aka Spaceballs, Spacepaws, Spaceballs? Wow, Mel Gibson. My small group is my group, and it kind of becomes like your little community. It's your family and stuff like that. And I always look forward to seeing them whenever I'm streaming or playing a game. We crack jokes, we have good times. We've done so many things over the years together. We've watched movies and had betting with the stream's currency, which is another deal entirely. And had events, reaction videos, and just talked about gaming and just different stuff. And over the years, they've become like real life friends to me, you know what I mean? Alright, not gonna lie, NGL. Oh, so you wrote this book? Yeah, he did. NGL stands for National Griffin Ball League, or Griffin League. I believe it's Griff Ball. Bleh! Griff Ball. So, I don't know, that might have been obvious because the first time I saw that logo, I was like, that's definitely a sports team. Yeah. You don't catch me wearing any sports stuff, but I told Rayborn that I would definitely wear that, like, all the time. And I hear those shirts are very comfortable, too. Griffball, you got it. By the way, I was looking into your panels again, Mithril, and I gotta say, I'm oddly annoyed by the inconsistency of your game list. Oh, yeah, you mean with the one on my profile? I'm trying. What can I say? Hey, I told you I was a variety streamer at the very beginning. Although I have looked over that list, and I'm like, some of these I gotta finish. Persona needs to be finished. But I think that's become like a bit of a Saturday game for me. Yep, that one. Yeah, well. If you want me to jump back on Knack on PlayStation 4, you just let me know. I will knack it up. Knack it up. I did not realize I liked that game. I do need to finish that game. I liked that game, but I didn't realize just how much for kids it was for kids. But the concept fascinated me. You're this construct that actually has feelings and a soul and all this stuff that can draw elements of what's around you, make yourself bigger or smaller. Yeah. No, not that. It's just a wildly mixed. Totally fine with that, but why have it especially centered out on your Wii U games, but not differentiated between PC or PS games? Excuse me. I see what you're saying. Huh. I could do that. Yeah, so you're suggesting that maybe I refresh it and organize the list, maybe? Like, Wii U games, PlayStation 4. Let's face it, I'm not going to get a PlayStation 3 ever. Games. PC games. To organize the list a little bit, I'll definitely take that into consideration. I could do that. And also, why are Breath of the Wild, Smash Brothers, and Garden Warfare 2 listed with a and not the dot like the others? Ew. That was a long time ago that I made that list. I might have to look at that and figure that out. I'll fix it. I propose more Kaizo games. Get out! No. Hell no. By the way, I made a level last night, guys. But, yeah, no, yeah. More Kaizo games. What's wrong with you? Alright, guys. I'm gonna start chapter 2. Because Rayborn has a little special treat coming. And Faithy, you might get a kick out of this too, I don't know. You guys know that I have my Sound Blaster. And, Spaceballs already hates it. But, listen for when Jonathan is speaking. I'm not going to sit here and, like, diverse all the voices. I just don't have that kind of time. But, anyway. Hope you enjoy. Chapter 2. Is Jonathan even anywhere in this chapter? Come to think of it? Oh, well. By the way, Rayborn, I was just saying that I particularly like this chapter because I'm a morning person. And I think this is where I started to really relate to Thyra, because she had the whole house to herself. And that deck at the beginning, on the front of the cover, oh man, I would love that. I would spend like all morning on that. I would just, oh. And it's so sweet that her husband made that for her. I didn't say I hate it, just said it sounds kind of weird. Stop putting words in my mouth. I never said in my mouth. Alright, well, I'll leave your true feelings to you to say. Alright. Chapter 2. Delivery. Thyra let out a loud yawn, her brown feathers rousing while she stretched out along the wooden deck. She relaxed on the upper balcony, overlooking the yard below as the sun rose in the clear blue sky. A horn honked from the street as a blue car drove by, and Thyra quickly responded with a claw wave to the friendly neighbor. Oh good, a friendly neighbor. This was her usual morning spot. She went up there to sunbathe in the crisp morning sun before, and it became too hot and humid to enjoy. Oh, Lord, that's so true. Frickin' Georgia heat. Before the patio was built, she had to lay on the sloped roof, and she had begged Jonathan to build her an upper balcony for years before he finally caved in. She chuckled, remembering how disheveled and exhausted her husband had looked after spending days in the hot sun building the deck for her. He had to read up for weeks on how to build decks and take multiple trips down to the local hardware store in order to complete their project for her. In the end, it turned out really nice, but not without help from his friends. It was definitely her favorite anniversary gift so far, and she used it just about every nice day that she could, so it wasn't like all of Jonathan's hard work had been in vain. She opened her eyes again to stare into the pure blue sky. Thyra lifted her coffee mug into a shining brown beak to take a long sip. She remembered how many times when she had messed up and poured coffee all over her brown feathers. It was a bit difficult for a griffin to drink from cups and mugs. Oh, yeah? Good. But she had mastered it over the years. Spoiled bird, she mockingly said, gulping down the rest of the bowl black coffee. The long black digits of her foretalons wrapped around the mug tightly as she set it back down. Thyra then took the time to preen around her cream-colored chest feathers. She organized the feathers, thinking of the day's to-do list. It wasn't going to be that busy of a day. She just needed to do a couple of grocery deliveries and read more of her book, and clean around the house a bit. Jonathan always volunteered to help with the housework, but with the late nights he put in, Thyra usually took care of the cleaning, which reminded her about the egg and the spray paint in the front doorway. That thought made her stop preening for a minute, emotion washing over her like a light summer rain. Her bright green eyes stared off into the distance while memories of her youth came back to her again. Thoughts of people shouting and yelling at her came forth like a bad nightmare, and she shook her head, trying to repress them once again. Thyra breathed in the crisp air deeply, letting it calm her. That was long ago. People are better and more accepting now. Excuse me. She slowly stood up and grabbed her empty coffee mug. Then she opened the glass door and connected the upper balcony to a small upstairs guest room and went down the stairs. The Griffiness placed her mug on the kitchen island and made her way to the bedroom. Her talons clinked and tapped against the dark brown hardwood floor as she opened up the closet door and stood inside for a minute, trying to decide what to wear for the day. Griffins didn't need clothing for modesty in the way the humans did, but culturally it had become a necessity. A griffin strutting around without clothes looked like an animal in humans' eyes, where a griffin in uniform tended to get more respect. Totally makes sense. CB Griffin. So jealous of the back deck, and she does spend all morning usually on it. Over time, she had obtained quite the collection of clothing items for every occasion, as well as all specially made shoes. This morning, a mint green button caught her striking avian eyes. She grinned and took it off its hanger along with a matching pair of khakis to go along with it. Totally sounds like something I'd wear. After a couple of minutes of fumbling around, losing balance once and falling on her back, she looked in the mirror and sat back on her haunches with a pleased grin on her beak. The shirt was loose enough to allow plenty of movement, but the pants were always an annoyance. She stretched out her hind legs and flicked her tan feline tail agitatedly. Excuse me, I had to wipe my beak again. Excuse me. How do people that read audiobooks like this for hours on end do this? She liked to only wear shorts or a skirt, especially in this weather. But she had to look somewhat professional while working. She let her entire body fluff up before shaking the letters and letting her feathers fall back down into place. Excuse me. Her large hood feathers, almond brown and edged with light cream, stood up tall on her head before they laid down neatly again, creating quite a bountiful crest. Thyra grabbed the gloves from her foreclaws that had been custom made to fit her and slipped them on, much like a human would do with gloves. She then worked on her hinds, and she slipped them over her flesh-colored paws and used Velcro to secure them tightly to her ankles before standing up. She clutched her foreclaws into a fist, flexing out the black leather gloves. They fit nicely and protected her sensitive feet from being burned on the hot concrete, as well as keeping them clean from the road grime. With her clothing situated, the Griffiness exited the bedroom and went to collect her work harness. She walked to the kitchen and opened the door to the garage. The lights were still on from when Jonathan had left, and she let out a small sigh. He always forgot to turn off lights when he left. They edit out the audio where the reader drinks water, sneezes out, etc. Yeah, I'm sure they do. It just seems so seamless, especially if it's a really good reader. Not like the guy that read from Aragon. I couldn't get used to his voice. He sounded like William Shatner too much, talking about how Aragon had to wait for Saphira to come join him. And then when Saphira would talk like this, it was like so off-putting. I digress. Thyra then approached the wall where her large leather harness hung. She reached up and pulled it off to its hooks, and then ran her little talons across the etched designs in the leather. The metal clasps dinged and clinked when she inspected the harness to ensure everything was in proper order. It was a complicated contraption, and she always found it a little awkward putting the harness on by herself, but she had learned to manage it just fine. A couple of minutes later, she latched the last clap in place, and then she took the time to check the different pockets and bags attached to the harness, making sure they were secure and in place. After all, this was her only means of transporting groceries and carrying all around her other necessary items. After one last inspection, Thyra was ready to leave. She flicked off the lights to the garage and went into the kitchen, grabbed her phone, wallet, and keys before throwing them into the designated slots in the leather harness. The Griffiness closed and locked the door behind her and made her way into the lush green front yard. She stood for a second, stretching out her long and broad wings, letting them warm up and catch the summer breeze. It's already getting quite hot, but that makes for better thermals, she thought, and launched herself up into the sky with one hard flap of her wings. A couple of beats was all it took to ascend to a good cruising altitude. Thyra stretched out her wings and glided with the air currents. The strong, warm summer thermals tugged at her primaries and kept her afloat as she watched the people below drive along the highway for their morning commute. She beak-grinned in a smug pride, feeling sorry for those humans having to rely on a machine to get them places and not having the experience of flying free. We're not jealous at all. Sure, there were less than ideal weather days when she actually coveted their ability to drive in a car instead of flying in the rain or snow, but today was quite the opposite. She breathed the clean morning air and thought through her nares while moving her tail feathers to bank a little left, aligning herself to the first destination, the village market. Oi, excuse me. Lower back issues, always gotta make sure I'm comfy. Thyra came in low and slow to the ground, approaching the entrance to the large metal pavilion where the market was held every day. With a quick reverse flap of her wings, she landed gently on the concrete below, which caused most of the people around her to turn their heads. Some of them seemed surprised and shocked by her sudden entrance, while others glanced on before continuing on their way without a second thought. She entered the pavilion through the main entrance, where many people were walking back and forth between the various stands. Smells of fresh flowers, candles, and baked goods filled the air. Some vendors had their trucks backed into the designated spaces, while others had more permanent stands allocated for their business. "Hey there, Thyra!" shouted a rough-looking old man. His brown eyes matched his bronze skin, which was leathery from all the years of sun exposure. It had always amazed her how human skin could take in such a beating through the years and still uphold without any kind of fur or feathers protecting it. "Hey, Jimmy! Just the handsome man I wanted to see," Thyra said with a little cheeky grin, while approaching the large wooden stand. All sorts of fresh green vegetables and brightly colored fruit were spread across the slanted stand on display for all the potential consumers to see. She sat on her haunches in front of the counter, chest peeking above where she looked, staring at Jimmy with her bright green avian eyes. "Oh, Thyra, you always know how to cheer an old man up," he says in an exaggerated tone, playing along with the Griffiness. Without missing a beat, he stood up and turned around, grabbing a box of mixed veggies. He placed it on the counter and looked back at her. She looked at the box and rose up a little on her hind legs to inspect the order. Immediately, her eye ridges raised in a surprised expression. She rummaged through the filled vegetable boxes with one gloved foreclaw and picked up the order slip before looking back down at the white-haired man. "It seems a little much for Jessica. She usually orders a lot less," Thyra said, a little surprised and a bit irritated that she now knew this order would take up her entire harness satchel space. Usually, her harness satchels would only hold 2 orders, perhaps 3 if they were all small. "Oh, yeah. Jessica rang some hours ago and told me a double than usual order. Something about a party, I reckon," Jimmy explained to the irritated bird. Thyra took a deep breath and sighed. She couldn't be upset at Jessica for ordering so much after all. She was the best customer they had. The Griffiness started to grab the various items. "Well, it sure would have been nice to know these kind of things ahead of time," Thyra said as she loaded up on the various vegetables and organized them in the proper place inside the sachets. Soon the brown Griffiness was all set to go, and Jimmy handed over the ticket with the easy-going grin he always had. "Take it easy and don't work too hard," he said, wishing her good luck. "You know I never do," Thyra replied in a good-natured tone as she stood, testing to see if the weight was evenly distributed throughout the harness. At least it was a beautiful summer day. She turned and walked out towards the entrance. The people around made sure to give her plenty of room to walk, mostly out of respect, but some were fearful of her. Griffins were quite rare to see, and now there were fewer griffins in the South States than in the North. This was one of the most visited places in town, so most people that frequented the village market acted like she was no more than just another person, and that was what she asked for. Some of the people even waved in greeting, to which she responded with a big grin and a nod. As the Griffiness stepped out from under the shade of the pavilion, the bright summer sun blinded her for a second. She paused to let her eyes adjust and felt the leather shoes become warm from the parking lot's black asphalt. Without the protection of her shoes and gloves, it would be painful to stand for long on the hot concrete. Excuse me. She unfolded her curved almond brown wings, and with a quick sprint she took to the sky once again, with a course set to Jessica's house. Jessica, an aging and wealthy woman, lived in one of the nicer neighborhoods on top of the mountain, just outside the city limits. It was quite a long drive into the city for the residents of those neighborhoods, but it took Thyra half the time. Her wings beat hard against the warm thermals as she pushed to get altitude with an added weight, and she always found it easier to gain the elevation necessary and cruise the rest of the way. letting her long, curved wings carry her along the wind currents. She felt her harness vibrate quickly multiple times, indicating a message from her cell phone. Thyra reached into the small pouch located up against her chest and pulled the phone from it, and it was a message from Jonathan.
Keith wants to go out to dinner tonight. You want to go?
Thyra thought for a second. It would probably be fun to go out instead of cooking, especially since she didn't have any idea what to cook with the minimal amount of groceries they had at home right now. She flipped out the small keyboard on the phone and used her talon tips to press the individual keys and typed out for her response. Sure, when and where? After the message was sent, she looked up for a brief second and squawked in surprise. She veered off to the right as a flock of ducks flew right past her, barely missing a wing. They quacked out in anger at her while continuing to drive on their way. She looked back at them and let out a loud hawk screech. Cursing back at the ducks in bird speech, her hackles raised. Stupid mallards, she mumbled under her breath. The phone vibrated again in her hand, and she looked back down to check the new message.
Reservations are for 8 p.m.
Good. That gave her plenty of time to finish what she had to do and get ready. She put the older phone away safely into its pouch and started laughing at the thought of the angry mallards that almost struck her. It wasn't the smartest thing for her to text and fly, but those waterfowl should have watched where they were flying. Next time I'll have duck for dinner. You guys ever had duck before? Duck is actually kind of tasty if you do it right. It wasn't long after that before she was flying low and slow over the streets of the mountaintop, heading for the correct house. From above, all the houses looked relatively the same, which would usually be a problem when delivering to a new customer's home, but Jessica was a regular. Thyra knew exactly which house it was and quickly spotted it among the spider web of roads and homes spread out across the top of the mountain. She noticed that many cars and people were also gathered around the mansion, which gave the cheeky Griffiness an opportunity. I would totally do this if I were her. She folded her wings in tightly as she angled her long red tail feathers to dive down towards the destination. Within seconds, she was close to the ground, and with a quick flick of her body, along with a powerful return stroke of her expansive wings, she landed roughly in a boasting display right in front of the large manor. Several guests outside all gawked at her bold entrance, then backdraft from her wings, blowing their hair back and kicking up dirt. Let's see, shoot. Dang it, I lost my spot. Okay, here we go. A big cocky grin grew from her beak, and she settled her wings in, tucking them against her body. She advanced towards the large door, and many of the well-dressed guests started to clap, as if it was some sort of show for them, which made Thyra's feathers stand up proudly. It was fun to show off every once in a while. The guests of the party welcomed this freely display of her abilities as Thyra walked on by and proceeded through the open doors. If I thought you were going to put on a show for us, I would have asked you to come to be tonight's entertainment, came a heavily accented voice from across the room. I couldn't decide what kind of ethnicity Jessica was, so I'm just using my normal voice, trying to make it sound a little bit more sure. Gonna be sleeping now. Have a good sesh. Thank you, Fluffies, and thanks for coming in and showing support. Love you, buddy. Take care. Alright. What was I? Thyra turned her head to see Jessica facing towards her with a welcoming smile. Jessica was standing next to a couple of guests, her dark brown colored skin a nice contrast with the white dress she wore. What? Now this really does make me curious. What ethnicity is Jessica is what I want to know. I mean, what do you imagine it look like? I'll continue until I see your answer. Well, I was going to say you couldn't afford me, but by the looks of the new dress, I'm sure that you could, the Griffiness replied as she approached the woman. Jessica bent down a bit to touch her forehead against Thyra's feather. Latino, maybe? She's black. Oh! Okay, see, it was between those two that I couldn't decide. But I was wondering black. So, does she have a Jamaican accent? Jessica bent down a bit to touch her forehead against Thyra's feathered skull in a griffin's way of greeting. It was rare for the humans to do this with her, but one of Jessica's favorite hobbies was studying griffin culture. She was fascinated by griffins and sought out opportunities to practice traditions in normal society and social interactions with every griffin that she met. No? Aww. Southern African American. Okay. Jessica pulled back. Did you see the young blonde man up front? He's an owner of a second league griffball team. Thyra's ear tufts perked up at the mention of the griffball team. Well, you have to introduce me sometime. I would love to get some good seats or perhaps even talk to him about being a new player. She said it jokingly, but in her heart it would be a dream come true to play in a professional game. Jessica simply smiled and turned to walk down the hallway. What's the occasion? Thyra asked curiously. Oh, this old thing? It's just a small gathering for a friend's birthday, Jessica said. But it's up to the reader. Well, I've already got her set in my mind, so I'll just leave it at what I got now. In short, I'm a former theater student, and voice acting has always fascinated me. And I like doing impressions every now and again, especially when I'm reading. I like to give them personality, or try to at least. I don't know whether I'm any good at it or suck at it, but it's just something I like to do. I also feel that it helps portray the story. Anyway, let's see. She motioned for the griffin to join her with a flick of her wrist, the golden bracelets she wore clanking together as she did so. She led the griffiness towards the kitchen. The vaulted ceilings made every step echo as Jessica's high heels clanked against the wooden floor. The kitchen was expansive, much larger than any one person would need. I've definitely seen those. I worked in a lot of different houses, like really nice ones. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. The antique white-colored cabinetry accented the silver gleam of the stainless steel appliances. Jessica tapped her nails on the dark granite countertop, motioning for Thyra to unpack the groceries there. The griffiness planted a foreclaw upon the counter and stood on her hind legs, now standing taller than Jessica. She balanced herself and began to work at the latches, which held the satchels full of groceries. It seems like a pretty big party to be called a small gathering, Thyra said, putting the last words in air quotes with her talons. I love that part. A chuckle came from Jessica's red-painted lips, and she poured herself a glass of wine. Sweetheart, if you think this is big, you should come to my 60th birthday coming up. You would know what to do with yourself, she said with a boasting grin as Thyra continued to unpack, pulling out the various vegetables and other fresh goods. I'll consider that an invitation, the griffiness replied. I'll be here, especially if there's free wine. The entire kitchen island was now cluttered with various foods. Thyra let herself back down on all fours and pulled out the receipt. Jessica read it over and made her way over to a drawer next to the refrigerator to get her checkbook. Of course. There will be wine, dear. It will be flowing like Niagara Falls. Thyra couldn't help but laugh. Jessica finished up the check and handed it over to Thyra, who noticed a green bill tied in with it. Her eyes grew wide, and her beak dropped open as she saw a $100 bill with the check. She looked back at the smiling woman. Really? Happy Hatch Day. Happy Hatch Day, Thyra. Just try not to spend it all in one place, you hear? You hear? I love that. Thyra quickly stood up on her hind legs, again to rub her beak along the woman's cheek and neck. Her feline tail swished as she trilled out an affectionate purr. With that, she sat back down on all fours, wings unfolding and folding again in excitement. How did you know it was my hatch day? I've got my sources, Jessica replied. Well, I'm going to treat myself tonight, then, Thyra said blissfully. She turned and walked towards the front door with Jessica by her side. I hope you do, said the woman. Make sure to say hello to Jonathan as well. I'll make sure to tell him, Thyra said with a big grin. With a little more swing in her step, she galloped into the yard, wings spread wide as she took off into the sky with an animated screech. Okay, I didn't get to do exactly the thing that I wanted to do, so I was going to stop there, but I'm going to read one more page. I kind of did. I mean, I'm sure Rayborn noticed when I was reading Jonathan's text messages. But let's have a little bit more fun. This will be the last page, and I'm going to stop there for now. Chapter 3, Dinner Reservation. The garage door slowly opened as Jonathan arrived home. He backed the car into the garage and stepped out, shutting the door with a loud thud. He left his briefcase inside. It was Thyra's hatch day on Saturday, and he had all sorts of activities planned. He wasn't about to let work distractions get in the way of those plans. And he walked into the kitchen, breathing in the relaxing scent of the scented wax burner that was always turned on. It was Thyra's favorite scent. It reminded him of a cool autumn day in the forest as the leaves were changing. He thought back to their long walks in the cool weather through the local park. Sometimes she would take off in the air for a while, circling around Jonathan and weaving through the trees for fun. Most of the time, she would walk right next to him, keeping up pace and chatting about whatever happened that day at work. Jonathan set his keys down on the counter and walked towards the front door to head outside to the front porch. He frowned as he looked at the dried-up egg yolk that still clung to the windows and walls from that morning.
Damn it, Matthew. Damn you and your cult.
He used cult for a lack of a better word. Most people thought of the gathering as just another organized Christian religion, but its leadership was corrupt, and their teachings filled with their congregations with racists and bigots. All right. Is your mic weird to me? It's probably not sounding as crisp as it usually does because I'm using a particular headset. I think the quality of it might be deteriorating. We've had it for probably about 3 or 4 years now. But welcome in. Unfortunately, we might be wrapping it up soon. I thought I would take this time to first of all ask Rayborn, what'd you think? What'd you think of the voice change there, huh? Yeah, I liked how you did the text message. Yeah, I got this headset that I got on. Sound Blaster. It has an option to change voices. So, at the push of a button, I can make myself sound like this.
Give myself like a deep demonic voice like this.
Sound like an alien brute, which isn't all that far off from demon, apparently.
Or the quote-unquote robotic voice like this.
One of my favorites, the timid, shy, scrappy kid. Let's go get him, Johnny. Yeah.
Here's Jonathan's voice, quote-unquote, which I called adult male. And it's a deeper alteration of female to male. But if I was a male, if I was a guy, I could change my voice from male to female.
Female to male is what this sounds like. I like to tease and be like, hey, this is what I would sound like if I was a dude. It's pretty funny, huh? I love my dude voice. Turn it up a little bit. Yeah, I can hear I hear what you hear over here, guy. But, yeah, it's also one of the perks that I got in my store, so people can pay the stream currency to change my voice, and then there's one called Voice Lock, so if people ended up getting into a voice change war, one person could slap down so much currency, be like, you know what, I'm locking her voice for the rest of the stream. Then we got Elf right here. And Elderly?
Elderly, but shaky. That was all. Alright.
And for some reason, this one's called From Up North. I don't know where to stop from top. Let's see, wasn't there one more? There was one more I wanted to show off.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, and in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we to Munchkin Land.
I guess that's enough of that for now. Alright, so so you guys have been listening to a reading of the Griffin Generation, the Griffin Generation, Book 1 of, let's see, Rainborn, is it going to be a trilogy? So the first book of, I think it's going to be a trilogy, but I could be mistaken, it could be just a continuation. As you see there, and he's currently got 2 books. The first one, The Griffin Generation, the next one right there, right over there, A New Era, is when Thyra actually becomes a member of the Griffball team. And further on in the book, they explain what Griffball actually is, and it's actually quite fascinating. If it was a real sport, I could see it totally becoming popular. Think of it like, kind of like Quidditch and football mixed together. So, of course, you can only play if you're a Griffin. You're trying to score points by putting in the goal on opposite teams, but, of course, there's flying involved. And, honestly, I like, the scenes there's only, 2 scenes in the first book, where they're playing Griffball, and one of them is a practice session, but, his description and, formation of, or not formation, but, the description of the different characters and their play styles is fascinating. I don't know, Bizelle might be a sports fan. And yes, it will be a trilogy. Excellent. Thank you so much. It reminds me that I desperately need to rewrite book 1. Yeah, no problem at all. You can, I definitely appreciate it, for what it is, but, you can always have room for improvement, in my opinion, because when you start out with a story, I used to write when I was younger, and this is just my line of thinking. I'm not no professional or anything, but when you start off with a story and you come back to it later, it's kind of like remastering a video game or a movie, for that matter. When you're like, this was good, but there's a better way that I can approach this, or now I've learned more as a writer, and I can explain things a little bit differently and convey in a different or broader way of what I was trying to convey. And, oh, sorry, Faithy, you wanted to duel me, huh? I guess I'll hit accept for 4 feathers. Is it still going? I don't know why duel doesn't work. I need to beat up Slopspot for that. Alright, I hate sports, to be honest. Quite honestly, I used to, until one day I was like, sports are a game! And no, quite honestly, here in the state of Georgia, Shady's uncle treated us to some sports games, and he really didn't want to go to these things alone, but he's like, hey, if you guys ever want to go check out Georgia Tech women's basketball, or if you want to, go check out this or that team, you let me know, I'll front for the tickets. And, we figured, yeah, this is probably a way for him to want to spend time with us, and, you don't want to turn down family. But Shady and I actually sat near the front lines at a game, and we got intrigued. We were, studying the different players, and, we would ask questions about the rules and what's going on and stuff, and it's fascinating to watch in person. So I think it's just one of those things where you watch more in person. It's more interesting. Maybe. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and open the floor up to the chat. You guys, if you guys have any questions for Rayborn, it looks like he's still here, hanging out. Feel free to ask them. In short, I'm done with this book, and I would have to say I recommend this book. I like the way it's boldly approaching some of the issues that, I guess the world has, but when it comes to racism and the struggles of fitting in with society, I believe that Bizelle has a pretty healthy grasp on the way it goes on around here in Georgia. I wish I could sit here and say Georgia's perfect and whatever, but nowhere's perfect. But anyway, my point being is, I feel like I can really feel Georgia in his writings, and I appreciate that. Because it's always good to be in with the environment. And someone that's from Georgia, I can see in his research. But speaking of questions, Raybord, I have this one question I gotta ask you. I noticed this right away at the end of the book. Sand Mountain is mentioned in the book. You can PM me if you need to or whatever. I just noticed it. By the way, guys, Sand Mountain, I strongly believe, is a reference to what's called Stone Mountain here in Georgia. But I was wondering, is there a reason why you changed it to Sand Mountain instead of Stone Mountain? Was it legal reasons? Was it, something else? If you don't want to answer, feel free just to say, don't want to answer. I don't know. Just something I was really curious about. Let's see, do I have any other questions? No, I guess I'll leave it at that, and that'll be my question. I'll let you guys talk. Yeah, I'm glad someone noticed that joke. No, we have a sand mountain here. Oh, okay, so instead of saying Stone Mountain, you said Sand Mountain because of where you live? Oh, that's so cool. I mean, I thought to myself, surely it's not as complicated as I think, but, I'm one of those people that likes to be cautious. I mean, I'm very outspoken, but I want people to understand that if I'm overstepping any boundaries, let me know right away. The best way of doing that is, like with any extrovert, one-on-one. Just like really with any introvert too, but other than that, I'm really, I try to be considerate of those things. And no, it just got me thinking, and I was just curious. So thank you for answering that. But yeah, so I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. The Stone Mountain we got here and stuff like that. Okay, so no, there's a place here called Sand Mountain, and Rachel talks about it because she's from Chattanooga. Oh yeah. Pfft. Duh, that's right. Oh, she's from I can't believe it. Duh. You know what I think? I think I've confused that with Chattahoochee. I think that's what it is. Okay. And that makes even more sense. Alright, so, any other questions? If anybody wants to look into this book series themselves, you see, up there at the top, it's saying you can get it on Amazon. Check it out if you'd like to read the rest of the book for yourself. Another great thing about this book, too, as I'm sure a lot of, authors are starting to do or allow, is there is a preview available to read before you buy it. So that's the thing. And, yeah. Way down yonder in the Chattahoochee. Oh, I know that sounds familiar, but no melody's coming to my mind. Yonder. Oh, man. Oh, man, I should show you sometime. My family, you got my mom's and dad's side, which is from the South, and then my husband's side. But they're two sides of the same coin of South. It's so funny. Everyone on my family's, my husband's side is like still saying yonder and washer instead of washer. And, we'll get the dog and we'll get it washed. It would just come out of nowhere. It's like, I love you, Grandma. That's related to Coochie Picoo. What? There you go. Yeah, I think it was checking the wording of coochie, because, I get the reference. In fact, you both just mentioned it right there. But, how do I put? When I was growing up, that word, coochie, means something else. So, I think that's why, it was checking it out and asking me what I thought about the writing first. And, it's like over there balking over at Faithy because you're not a mod right now, which I gotta fix again, like I said I would. Dad permitted. Hoochie hoochie. I'm still probably gonna have to be a little tentative about that, I imagine. It's the song by Alan Jackson. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I haven't. You know what? Honestly, I have not heard that word in forever. It was like a childhood terminology, at least here. I don't know if that makes sense to you or if you've heard that too. But anyway, so if we are all good, I'm gonna close it down and I'm gonna say, Rayborn, Alexander, sir, it has been an immense pleasure having you here. Loving the book. Can't wait to get started on number 2. Sometimes I kick myself in the pants at how much free time I've been having, but there's just so much I've been wanting to catch up on. Not to mention I've been getting kind of addicted to streaming a bit. Long story short, the primary reason I even joined Twitch was for Extra Life charity streaming and spreading awareness of it. So, that, and like I said earlier, I fell in love with the community. And, like Faithy and Shady and Fluffy, Spaceballs, and all of them and a number of others. When they come in, we just have like a really good time. So, and I don't have any kind of schedule or anything. I play when I can, and I keep it pretty casual and try to keep it as respectful and as loving and positive as possible. That's a goal here. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for having me. It was a real pleasure. And again, I'm going to extend that invitation. If you ever have any questions about Twitch, you let me know. I'm sure you've got tons of resources that would be able to offer that to you, but like I said, like the Bardic Griffin of Georgia, and I've been more than happy to help with anything. I look forward to the next book and hearing about what future conventions you go to. Thank you for helping me celebrate 500 followers, aka probably like 426 of them that forgot to hit the unfollow button. But regardless, I'm glad to be here and glad to be a part of the community, and I will see you guys next time here on the Griffins next. Wait for it. Oh, excuse me. Bye.